Hey friends, so for today's video, I want to address a concern that I've noticed a lot of people have about publishing stuff, writing stuff, making videos, making blog posts, tweets, whatever, about some subject matter that you know that you're not an expert in, you know that you're a beginner in it, right? And you know that experts exist. And so a lot of people I've spoken to, and I deal with this too myself sometimes, a lot of people feel that there's nothing of value that I can say that is better than what an expert can say, right? Like, why is my point of view important or valuable or relevant or interesting when there are more skilled people, more people with better production quality, better editors, better, just much more process. I'm fudging my words, but you get the idea, right? It's just there are people who are all the way up there, who are so good at what they do, who are experts, who have studied the field for decades, and I'm just some young punk who doesn't know anything, trying to figure shit out. Like, why should I start a blog? Why should I start a vlog? Why should I start a podcast? Why would anyone care about a beginner? And I have found that people do care. Again, not everyone, right? But people do care about hearing from other people who are at different stages of their journey, including experts. So experts often like to hear from people who are not experts, because once you become an expert, once you've been doing something for a long time, you know it very well. It becomes difficult to remember what it was like to not be an expert. It becomes difficult to model the beginner's mind. And it's useful for a beginner to share their perspective, to share their state, to share their observations, their hesitation, their uncertainties, their mistakes, because it helps experts better model what beginners think. And it also is interesting to people who are looking to bridge the gap between themselves and experts, right? I remember this very, very clearly. When I was a teenager, right, I was looking for guidance, I was looking for wisdom, I was looking for expertise. And it was available, but, made content that was made by people so far removed from my reality that I didn't know how I could relate to it, right? So, let's say I'm 17, 18, and I am looking for advice on how to be a better person from the Dalai Lama, let's say, right? Or some big shot CEO, or it doesn't necessarily need to be something prestigious. It could be just, a Navy SEAL, or someone who's just super accomplished, super high functioning, doing really well in life, right? Commander Chris Hadfield, right? Amazing guy, super accomplished, wonderful person, a lot to learn from. But he's all the way there and I'm all the way down here. And how do I get from where I am to where he is, right? Like, it's such a big gap. And I wanted to hear from someone who was further along than me, but not that far away. Someone who's like a big brother, right? Someone who's like a few years older than me, a little bit more experienced, trying something out, making mistakes, being imperfect, being flawed, but, kind of ahead on his journey than mine. And that is something that I remember wanting that. I remember trying to seek it out, and I felt like I couldn't find it when I was a kid. Maybe I wasn't looking hard enough, but I looked really hard. I looked around. So, this was like before YouTube and before, social media really took off and stuff. But it's nice. I have a fitness Instagram for myself. Like, I follow people who are fit. And I like looking up people who are working out, who aren't fitness models, right? Like, they might think, why should I, who am I to start a fitness Instagram account? There are all these people, Yoga with Adrian or whoever, people with millions of followers, extremely accomplished, and they have so much to teach, and they're so skilled and they're so good at what they do, and they have fabulous bodies and their lives seem perfect. But when you're like 20, you want to learn from a guy who's about like 23, 24, who has a bit more experience, who is, still new to adulthood, new to maybe newly married. Like, it's helpful. It's helpful to have examples to learn from. And there should be a diversity of examples. More examples is almost always better than less, right? And yeah, it's just, the more people are like, producing stuff is free. Like, publishing content online is free. Making a video is free. Making a blog post is free. Anybody can do it. And if it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to view it. You don't have to do anything. You can just skip past it and move on to whatever you like. And I have, like, the world's a big place. There's what you think people want is very, very tiny fraction of what people actually do want. So speak your truth, share your experience, share your doubts, share your uncertainties, share your mistakes, share your assumptions. Share as much as you like. And you will be, initially nobody might notice and nobody might care. But if you're persistent and if you are earnest and you make an effort to connect with other people, you do good replies in other people's comments, and you're earnest and supportive and encouraging, everyone is starving for, real engagement, to really be seen, to really be heard. And, even like, you may encounter some people who are like snobbish and kind of gatekeepy, and they feel like, oh, don't talk to me, you're an incompetent noob. But you can ignore that, and you can be like, oh, okay, sorry, my bad, and then move on to the next person. And there's so many people. You'll eventually find your people. And when you find your people, you can support them, they can support you, you can grow together, and it's just a wonderful experience. So I highly recommend, yes, earlier today some guy DM'd me a list that he made. Very passionate. It's a guy very passionate about television shows, right? And he told me he spends a quarter of his life watching TV and reading about TV. And he made this beautiful, elaborate PDF list of all his favorite shows, his favorite episodes, his favorite seasons, his favorite performances by individual characters. Like, it's beautiful. It's so earnestly done by a nerd from a place of love. And I was enjoying it. I valued his opinions. And, there's a couple of shows that I might consider watching now because I know that this guy put in that much effort. And, you can't buy that. You can't go to like Entertainment Weekly, or I don't know what your favorite news site is that pays writers for these things. Like a piece of work that's made from passion, it's the most precious thing in the world, I feel. And he told me he was like nervous about sharing it with other people. And it's such a shame in a way, right? I mean, I don't want to force him and kind of push him too hard before he's ready, because it is true that when you share stuff in public, you may receive negative feedback. Like, I don't want to insulate you from that. Like, that is a truth. But I think it's worthwhile for the connections that you make with people. And the people who connect with you over the things you love, they quickly become your favorite people. And it's wonderful. So if you feel like you have stuff that you can't, like, if you feel like you want to have a blog or a podcast or something, but you feel like you're not worthy, be okay with publishing unworthy stuff, so as to speak. There was this guy on Reddit. His username is Shitty Watercolor, and I don't know if he still goes by that, but he used to just paint, in his words, a shitty watercolor of whatever was trending. And it was pretty good, and he got better and better, and now he's really good. And I admire that kind of attitude of kind of embracing the sloppiness and silliness of it, like not taking yourself too seriously, and just being like, yo, this is me. I'm just fooling around. This is what I know. I think I know. I'm probably wrong, but here, I care about this. I'm passionate about this. Let me know what you think, right? Like that kind of vibe. I love it. It's beautiful. If you want to share that kind of stuff with me, DM me on Twitter, right? Or reply in the comments or something, and let's chat about it. It's we can be the people that we want. We can gather the people together and have the kind of social interactions that we want. Yeah. So make stuff, publish stuff. Don't worry about it. Done.